awesome model. I'm not an astrophysicist, but I would definitely try to understand Dr. Jason Lyle's model, because that is one of the models of I think that is proposed. And he was, by the way, the only astrophysicist to predict what was going to happen correctly when the James Webb Telescope in 2022 looked out into the distant universe. What did everybody predict, by the way? That was a long age.
Are you talking about the galaxy the galaxies or whatever?
No, just ignore that for now. Ignore that. So what did everybody expect to see from the James? You're talking about looking how far we can look into space. Now when we got the James Webb Telescope operational 2022, after the big huge fiasco that damaged it, when it was finally operational, what did all the scientists predict we were going to see? Do you know? Can you explain it to me?
I don't know if you're talking about they expected the galaxies to be smaller than the way they look today or whatever. That's really been the only thing for James Webb that people think is some sort of gotcha, but it isn't, because
Really?
What stellar mass index were you using when you made your prediction about what the galaxy should look like?
I didn't make any predictions. But you don't know this? You don't know this? What happened?
Do you know what a stellar mass index is?
I'm not trying. We're not changing subjects. We're talking about the same thing. Looking how deep into space.
I'm talking about the James Webb and the galaxies it saw.
I know you're wanting to shift, but let me finish.
I'm literally talking about the galaxies, which is the thing you're going to bring up. You're going to say the scientists thought it would be a bunch of baby galaxies, but they're these great big galaxies. Oh no!
I'm not. That's not even what I'm saying. What does this even say? You're not even getting it. All right. So everybody predicted.
Yeah, great big mature galaxies. Yeah.
No, we were going to see no heavy elements, right? So we were going to just see hydrogen, helium, lithium. We're just going to see those light gases. We're not going to see anything heavy like oxygen or carbon. We're not going to see any of those. And by the way, do you know how we obtain what light? How do we obtain what that is made of? Do you understand how we do that?
Spectroscopy. Yeah, there's a crystal inside the James Webb, and it can split that light beam. I think each hexagonal disc can get its own
I've done this before. In chemistry, we do this. We actually do this. So this is something that we do. Okay, so I've made.
Well, you don't do you do mass spectrometry, not spectroscopy.
It's just in old chemistry, right? So we don't use it specifically in lab because we have much better equipment now to analyze things. But in terms of if we transfer this chemistry knowledge to space, when the data we have is light, it is spectroscopy. You're correct, and we analyze that and break it down. We could tell by the range. I've done this. We had all kinds of tests we had to pass where we had to identify different things, but based on their spectrometric measurements and how they were split. So, anyways, we expected to see just light stuff, and we expected to see not these fully formed galaxies, which you did bring up, no spiral galaxies. Everybody's predicting we're going to see young universe, right? There's only one person who predicted accurately what we're going to see, and accurately what everybody was going to try to do to explain it. Now, it's Dr. Jason Lyle. He expected we're going to find fully mature galaxies, heavy elements, spiral galaxies that we could see how long it took to form and what they were expected to be, size they're supposed to be. All these different things we're supposed to see at redshift 14, and we didn't see what they saw. We predicted. We saw what Jason Lyle predicted exactly, and all the scientific papers afterwards. Universes are maybe older than we thought. We got everything wrong about the old universe, and every article.
So in other words, the data supports the universe is older than we thought, not
according to your paradigm. According to our paradigm, it's already is what it is, right? He already has his model.
What?
Right?
It is what it is your paradigm. What does that even mean?
No, your paradigm is that it's old. Our paradigm is we expect the one-way speed of light.
That's backed up by evidence.
We expect the one-way speed of light to obviously show this differently through Dr. Jason Lyle's model. I think that's a pretty good model. Obviously, every physics model is room for change, but this is a model that fits. It's a scientifically based model, and it fits within this paradigm. And there's so many other arguments you could put for our universe. For instance, spiral galaxies, right? If they were as old as we are, we would know how many rotations they would have. They would be so more intertwined rotated than this. This is crazy. This shows how young these spiral galaxies are. We know the rate at which they spin. And this only shows thousands of years worth of spin. This is crazy. This is actually provable. This is insane that people look at spiral galaxies and think they're billions of years old.
Did you say that spiral galaxy shows thousands of years of spin? Are you mad? It takes 200 million years for the Milky Way to make one rotation.
This is what a 200 million year old spin galaxy. You brought the number. I found the number. Right here is the spin number. This is what a 200 million year old spiral galaxy would look like. You're incorrect, my friend.
Well, the field of astronomy would disagree with you.
No. It wouldn't actually.
If I
Do you
look
know
up
the arguments? So the Earth's magnetism, right? We just went over that Earth magnetism with carbon-14 a little bit. So the Earth's magnetism
No, I need an answer from you on what is the acceptable range of
want to talk about other dating methods?
distances we should be able to see if the universe is 6,000 years old.
It's not about
Get the right answer, Planet.
It's about what we see all right now currently.
It's not about that. So you can't. So you are you admitting that it's not even possible for you to have scientific evidence to back up your claim?
No,
because your claim is going to remain the same no matter what the scientific evidence is.
What's my claim?
That the universe is 6,000 to 7,000 years old.
Okay, but what did I say is my justification for that? Just based on astronomy.
You avoided giving any answer, is what you did. So what's the acceptable range of answers?
What was my answer?
You didn't give an answer.
Were you not listening? Were you talking over me again?
You didn't give an answer.
Can anybody else remember on the panel what I said? What was my model that I ascribed to? But I'm not an astrophysicist, so I haven't dug into that. I'm paying attention mostly to chemistry stuff, so I can look into that and explain it for you later if you want.
You didn't invoke Lyell when I asked you this question 30 seconds ago.
I did. We can roll back the tape. You want to bet on it? I did. 100%.
I didn't hear it. Maybe you did. I heard you bring him up earlier.
I said it 4 times.
So my question is, what is the acceptable range of distances we should be able to see if the universe is 6,000 or 7,000 years old?
So when we're looking back, we're seeing what we see appears to you guys. You have different paradigms. This idea, like what we expect to see. I expect everything that we see right now is over the course of thousands of years. You expect that this is representing millions of years of time.
Holy moly, dude!
We're looking deeper into the past, which is just not true, right? I don't know how people can look at the different things in the universe and just assume they're billions of years old, right? There's so many things that disprove that.
Why is it that the observable universe is over 90 billion light years in diameter?
I'll go over a whole list of them if you want.
Why is it that the observable universe is over 90 billion light years in diameter?
Because that's the current paradigm you're in, man. You just assume that that's the way it is because of the speed of light that you observe here. And
so you don't believe the distances that astronomers give us?
There's different models, and I'm telling you, you should look into Dr.
Real scientists don't have different models.
Yes, actually, we do. I'm a chemist, right? And I've been a chemist for 15 years, right? What we do is we get all the same data. We use chemometrics. We use all kinds of thermal analytics. We use nuclear magnetic resonance. We use all kinds of things to see what we actually made under the hood. We analyze it. We thermally analyze it afterwards. That's what business I'm in. And then we take all that data, put it in chemometrics, and then we all look at that data afterwards. And there was one particular project, which there's a couple other PhD scientists. There's a Korean and a Chinese guy. They disagreed with me in terms of what this actually was formed and what the application would be. So we all did our different, this is a blue sky research project. We all decided to go our different direction. I learned within a week, my theory was probably wrong. So I went to the Korean guy and said, hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna work on this with you. I think your idea is way more plausible. Talked with the other guy. He was like, no, I'm gonna stick with this. And he's stuck with it, even though his data again and again and again just didn't work out. He was convinced in his own mind, right? This happens in everyday science with historical debatable topics. This is what we can observe today. People come up with different ideas, not disagreeing with any scientific method, just their interpretation of the data, right? And this is what we see in historical science to the extreme, because we're not back there, man. If you're just gonna laugh, I mean, that's not an argument. Laughing,
and you're not giving an answer. What's the acceptable range of distances we can see if the universe is 7,000 years old?
What we're Your argument is based upon we would only be able to see 6,000 light years.
I didn't give you an argument. I asked you a question, and you're allowed to give me your answer based on your own terms, and you won't do it. What's the acceptable range of distances we should be able to see if the universe is 7,000 light years or years old?
We're seeing 14 redshift deep into space. According to the James Webb, that's how far we can look back into space. That's the technology we have today. 14 redshifts deep into space.
Why are you giving me the data that the secular scientists use to support a universe that's billions of years old?
It's not just the secular data. We all use this data. Dr. Jason Lisle uses the same data.
So you're not giving an answer. So now I have to ask you the other question. Why is it that we can see, or why is it that I don't know if why or how would be the better question. Why is the universe 90 billion light years across, even though the universe is only 7,000 years old?
I'll look at Jason Lyle's model because I don't want to mess up his model, because the one-way speed of light model is something I want to be able to like articulate better, but it's not.
Lyle just says the light was brought to us instantaneously at the moment of creation.
That's not his argument. That's the other guy's argument. That's not Dr. Jason Lyle's argument. So you're getting
some young Earth creationist models, like Jason Lyle's anisoptric syncropy convention, suggests that light from distant stars reached Earth instantly because of an assumed infinity one-way speed of light toward us.
All right, so let me look at it again.
So the light was instantaneously brought to us. So what scientific evidence do you have to support that?
You'd have to look at his model. I'm not an astrophysicist.
I don't think his model has anything. It just says, well, Einstein's equations allow for this weird quirk of light to operate that way. And if we don't believe this, then we can't say that the universe supports a young Earth model. So we have to say that.
He's not going to present a model without any evidence. That's just preposterous. He never has. I've never seen him do that.
What evidence does he have that the light was brought to us instantaneously?
Didn't you just go on a whole anecdote about how some people use data and they stand by it even though it's incorrect?
No, the interpretation of the data, my friend.
By the way, I Googled how long does it take the Milky Way to galaxy to rotate, and it said over 200 million years. So when you said the astronomy doesn't support that, it does support that.
So you just Googled something and then that's automatically the right answer? Is that what you're doing? Seriously, is that your technique?
Google takes you to that's what you did earlier. Google takes you to the scientific data.
Okay, hold on.
What?
I just said hold on.
Oh, okay. Are you looking for the evidence in his model?
Yeah, I'm actually looking through it right now.
Oh, dang. I went to the Rational Wiki for it, and I did Control F for evidence, and it came up with 0 results.
So Lyle cites Einstein, Reichenbach, who argue that the one-way speed of light cannot be measured without assuming a synchrony convention. All experimental measurements of speed of light, Michelson-Morley experiment, involve round-trip measurements, leaving one-way speed of light undefined. This allows Lyle to propose an anisotropic convention without contradicting known physics. For example, the measure the one-way speed clocks at 2 points must be synchronized, but synchronizing them requires assuming the speed of the signal light used to set the clocks, creating a circular dependency. Consistency with observation. Lyle argues that the ASC anchoring convention produces the same observational predictions as the standard isotropic convention for all measurable phenomena, time dilation, length contraction. Because these depend on the two-way speed of light, which remains c, obviously, he claims that the distant starlight appearing on Earth instantly under ASC explains why we observe light from galaxies billions of light years away without requiring billions of years of travel time, which if there was a transcendental creator, you would expect they do, because they brought everything to maturity, plants, animals, and humans. So you'd expect everything to be brought instantaneously.
No, you wouldn't. That's...
Yeah, that's actually what you would expect, because the Bible doesn't allow for anything else. You can't fit time into the Bible. So it's exactly what you
Because the Bible says so.
No, it's not because the Bible says so. It's actually, if that was true, you would expect there to be measurements. And I was about to go over the actual dating methods we could see within astronomy, why the universe is younger, why the Earth is younger. Just in astronomy.
The problem with what you're saying is it doesn't matter what the data is. You would just retroactively say God made it look that way.
I wouldn't do that. We were just going to use scientific arguments, right? We're not going to just say that God made it that way.
So if we could only see 7,000 light years in the universe, would the Bible then be false?
So we have to figure out what's going on. You have to actually, you're just laughing for no reason. Is that your argument? That's the fakest laugh I've ever heard. That's the fakest laugh I've ever heard. You just stopped instantaneously. You just stopped instantaneously.
Oh man!
Right. We're not gonna do like cricket sounds ridiculous. So,
oh, that was so bad.
No, it wasn't. I only said 2 words. What did I say?
No,
what did I say?
You said nothing for about an hour and a half, and then you were like, well, here's the thing.